I finally got to play Stranger of a Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origins demo. And for those that have played it or just looking because you don't have the PlayStation 5 yet, what it's all about, is it really as bad as everyone been saying? And I actually didn't get to play it until now because I was away on vacation, and I've been reading all these videos and articles and everything. Everybody's saying how bad this game is and it's absolutely horrendous, unplayable. I don't think that's true. The game is definitely playable, and there is fun to be had. There's interesting mechanics in there that I think are worthwhile, and they're doing something unique there. But at the same time, I totally see when people are saying that this is subpar, especially in comparison to Nioh. Nioh is absolutely fantastic, and I love that game. I've beaten the first one, I always beat the second one. And at the same time, it feels so much more muted. I mean, Nioh already is a dark game, and this feels even more dark and muted colors, and the aesthetic of the game just seems kind of boring, despite being set in the Final Fantasy 1 world overall and having that action RPG mechanic. And it just feels, I don't know, the characters look very bland, the boss looks very bland, like everything about it seems very bland. It looks like they almost wanted to Nobuo Uematsu and all these guys who created the original Final Fantasy wanted to mimic that, but didn't do a very good job of it with this one. But as I was playing it, it felt more like Code Vein. Code Vein was a little bit more linear and kind of guided and just slower combat. That's what it felt more like than it does Nioh. And I did appreciate some of the mechanics. I gotta say, I do like how magic works. For example, certain weapons give you the abilities to use magic, and you can pick which one you want, where it feels like Final Fantasy. Okay, I see bomb over there, I'm going to use water or ice on it to make sure I can weaken it and stun it. So I do enjoy that kind of a back and forth with the magic and the way it's being used, actually more than I would in Final Fantasy 15, for example, which had really weak use of magic in that game. It actually feels like it's impactful here, and I thought that was cool. Having a class system like an old school Final Fantasy games, even like the save point that you get there is very old school Final Fantasy emblem that you'll get like in Final Fantasy 8, I believe. And it's nice what they're trying to do, but in the state that I played it here, it feels very subpar and like a oh, I'll buy it when it's on sale, not something that I'm gonna be kind of, you know, shaking, can't wait to play this game. And overall, I thought just the demo itself, the boss, I mean, it did take me like 10 tries to beat the boss because the boss does quite a lot of damage. But when you realize what the strategy is, it's like brainless. For the first part of the fight, you're literally just dodging towards him to dodge all the attacks, and it works every single time. And then all you do for the second part is kind of stay away, wait for him to shoot the fireball so you can parry them, do a little damage, and cast magic on him, and the boss is done. And all the difficulty goes out the window, which is never true for a Souls-like game or a Nioh or anything of like that sort. You really have to learn the attack patterns. Here, it became very rudimentary. Not to mention, fighting the regular enemies, most of them kind of looked kind of boring. I feel like if you're playing a Final Fantasy game, despite being set in a more realistic environment, it needs to feel more colorful, more alive. And like look at Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 was able to ground itself, but at the same time bring out the color of what the Final Fantasy games are all known about, bright skies and everything. And this whole demo was kind of set in the dark, and I really didn't enjoy that. And that's why I have to agree with every video that I've seen on it, that it just looks very muted and kind of boring. Not to mention, at the very least, the tutorial level you get to play is super guided. There's no room for exploration. You don't have to break anything. Chests are very odd. Like, it's just, there was no room for really to kind of explore the environment that you're in. And you're in Final Fantasy in a 3D kind of environment. You would think there'd be more things to do. There isn't. So in the state that this game is in, it's not looking good. It looks like it's going to be a bargain bin kind of a game. I think Code Vein is a bargain bin kind of a game, so they kind of fall in within the same sphere. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me here. I think Nioh and Dark Souls are way above this game, even though it's trying its best to be both Dark Souls and Final Fantasy, and in the end kind of being neither. Any of you guys who actually got to play the demo, do you agree with this? Did you find some of the mechanics in the game to be fun, or you thought everything was bad and just completely trash or something of the sort? For example, when I saw a Dreamcast guy talk about the game is absolute trash, I think he's just being emotional, and I don't think that's true. The game is still functional, and there is some fun in the combat, but it's not enough to warrant, for example, a day one purchase for me. Maybe if it's like 10-15 bucks on sale, I'll pick it up just to see what this game is all about. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe down below for more gaming news, impressions, reviews, and discussions, as that's what we do on this channel. And I would love to have a discussion with you guys down below in the comments. I absolutely love doing it. Guys, peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day.